Hey there, creatives! Today we're diving into a super fun project, painting pumpkins. We're working on a pre-drawn canvas panel so you can just relax, follow along, and enjoy the process. You don't need any painting experience for this one. I'll walk you through step by step, from building up those cozy pumpkin tones to adding the little details that bring it to life. You'll finish up with an adorable fall piece that's all yours to show off and add to your space. Before we start painting, let's go over the supplies you'll need for this project. First, grab a large flat brush. This will help you quickly cover big areas like the background with smooth strokes. Next, you'll want a round brush, perfect for painting curved shapes and adding layers of color to your pumpkins. For the finer details, make sure you have a few detail brushes on hand. These will let you add in things like highlights, small lines, and texture. A palette knife is also super helpful, not only for mixing your paints cleanly, but also if you want to add a little extra texture or scrape away excess paint. You'll also need a paint palette. This is where you'll squeeze out your colors and mix them together. If you don't have a traditional palette, no worries. A paper plate or even a piece of wax paper will work just fine. Next is water. Keep a cup or jar nearby to rinse out your brushes between colors. Just make sure to change it out if it gets too murky so your paints stay bright and clean. And don't forget paper towels. These are a lifesaver for blotting extra water off your brush, wiping away mistakes, or cleaning up any spills. Some people like to use an old rag instead. That works too. These may seem like small things, but trust me, they make painting a whole lot easier. Of course, the star of this project is your DIY Vinci canvas panel. The pumpkin design is already pre-drawn for you, so you can dive straight into painting without worrying about sketching it out first. Now let's go over the paints you'll need. We'll be using a basic but super versatile set of colors. Titanium white, perfect for highlights, soft blends, and lightening other colors. Mars black, for bold outlines, shadows, and deepening tones. Cadmium yellow medium, our warm, vibrant yellow, great for mixing pumpkin oranges and glowing highlights. Cadmium red, primary red, rich and bold, this pairs with yellow to create those classic pumpkin oranges. Ultramarine blue, a deep, cool blue that's great for mixing purples, shadows, or toning down warm colors. Dioxazine purple, intense and moody, perfect for deep shadows or adding richness to your background. Burnt umber, a warm, earthy brown that grounds the painting and helps create natural-looking shadows and stems. With just these 7 colors, you'll be able to mix almost anything you need for this piece, especially all the glowing pumpkin tones and dramatic shadows. We'll start by blocking in the background colors. Grab a wide flat brush, or a bigger filbert if that's what you've got. At the top of your canvas, lay down a warm sunset orange. To get that color, just mix cadmium yellow with cadmium red and a little bit of white. Next, start blending downward into a soft pink glow. You can get this by mixing cadmium red with white. Keep working your way down the canvas and transition into a deep purple blue toward the bottom. For that shade, mix ultramarine blue with cadmium red and just a touch of black. As you're painting, keep your brush strokes loose and soft. That's what will give you that nice, smooth gradient effect. And here's a tip, try to work while the paint is still wet so your colors blend more naturally. If the paint starts drying too quickly, you can add a little water or even some acrylic glazing medium to help with those transitions. Now that we've got our background colors in place, let's go back and smooth out those transitions. Take a clean brush, slightly damp, not soaking wet, and gently run it over the areas where the colors meet. Use long horizontal strokes and just feather the paint back and forth so the shift feels soft and seamless. The key here is to avoid scrubbing. Think of it more like sweeping, lightly gliding the brush so the layers melt into each other. A couple of tips as you do this. Keep a paper towel handy so you can wipe off extra paint from your brush before blending. If you want an even softer, dreamier look, try using a soft round or mop brush for the feathering. And be careful as you work around the pumpkins. Bring your strokes right up to the edges, but don't cross into them. That way your pumpkins stay nice and crisp and your background stays smooth. All right, let's start bringing those pumpkins to life. Grab a medium round brush and mix up a nice rich pumpkin orange. That's cadmium yellow plus cadmium red. Go ahead and fill in the top and bottom pumpkins with this solid base color. Don't worry about covering every single section just yet. We're only laying down the main orange areas. We'll come back later to add in the shadows and highlights that give it depth. Next up, let's block in the middle pumpkin. This one's getting a bold, vibrant purple. Mix ultramarine blue with cadmium red until you've got a nice violet tone. If you want it a bit lighter and playful, just add a touch of white. Go ahead and paint in the main sections of the pumpkin with this mix, keeping your strokes smooth and even. Don't worry about filling in every little space. Those areas will get their shadows and highlights later. Quick tip: rinse and reload your brush often while working with purple. It can muddy up fast if old paint sticks around, so keeping your brush clean will give you a smoother base. Let's start adding in the shadows for our pumpkins. Mix a darker version of your base pumpkin color. You can do this by adding a touch of its complementary color or a neutral like dark blue, purple, or burnt umber. With that darker mix, go back and paint in the shadow shapes that are already blocked out in the design. Focus on areas where the light wouldn't hit, like the corners, edges, or spots tucked behind the pumpkins. Now it's time to add the highlights. Mix a lighter version of your base color by adding a bit of white or a touch of yellow if you want warmth. Then use this mix to paint in the highlight areas that are already mapped out in the design. Focus on spots where the light would naturally hit, like the tops of the pumpkins or edges facing your light source. Fill these highlight shapes in with solid, even color. Keep your strokes neat and don't worry about blending. These crisp light shapes will make your design pop and give it that clean, layered look. Let's give your pumpkins their personality. Fill in the eyes, nose, and mouth shapes with a flat, solid black to make them bold and expressive. For the stems, use a base of burnt umber to create a rich, earthy color. To define the spaces between pumpkins, darken your pumpkin orange by mixing it with burnt umber for a warm shadow, or with a touch of black for a stronger contrast. Paint these darker shapes in the overlapping areas so each pumpkin looks distinct and grounded. If you're using the DIY Vinci canvas panel with the pre-inked outline, now's the time to erase it. Once your painting is completely dry, take a heat tool or a hairdryer on high heat and carefully pass it over the surface to remove the blue outline ink. After the lines disappear, switch to a small round detail brush. Go back in with your pumpkin colors to fill any tiny gaps where the outlines used to be. This is also the perfect moment to refine details. Add soft highlights on the stems, sharpen the edges of the eyes, or create subtle texture on the pumpkin skin. For highlights, mix cadmium yellow medium with a little titanium white for a warm glow, or use pure titanium white sparingly for crisp, sharp accents. And once you're happy with the final details, don't forget the most important part. Sign your name in the corner to complete your piece. I hope you had fun creating along with me and picked up a few new tips and tricks along the way. Remember, every painting turns out a little different, and that's what makes your piece unique and personal. If you enjoyed this project, be sure to check out more DIY Vinci painting kits and tutorials. We've got lots of creative ideas to help spark your imagination. Thanks so much for painting with me today. Until next time, keep creating and keep having fun with your art. Bye for now.